Matt, and today we're here to talk about the Discovery 5. This Discovery is the 5th generation of Discoveries. They have been around for over 25 years now. This model changed to a monocoque structure fully made of aluminium, which is great for saving some weight because these cars were known to be heavy tanks. This car is fitted with a 3-liter turbo diesel engine, V6. It has just a single turbo. The newer models from 2019 on only have the twin turbo diesel engine. You can find the car also with a 4-cylinder diesel and 4 and 6-cylinder petrol engine. I would recommend using a 3-liter engine if you tow a lot. When you're towing 3.5 tons, you feel that you're on the edge with the smaller engine. Let's have a look inside. So this car is fitted with the beautiful HSC luxury seats, electric, heated, the steering wheel as well, large steering wheel with all the functions you need. I've got the heated steering wheel, I've got all my cruise control options that I need, and you have the phone call and all the menu settings that you can use to change something in the display or the board computer. Then you have this large console here in the middle, which gives tons of space. You have space here for your smartphone, for instance. You can see I've got my SE. Perfect space. Well, the SE is kind of small, but you can fit a larger phone as well. And underneath this tray, you have a larger compartment where you can fit, I mean, that's a 1-liter bottle. It fits perfectly inside. Some models are fitted with a fridge, where you would have the switch here. This one sadly doesn't have that. Then under here you have the 2 cup holders. Underneath here you have another compartment, quite deep as well. Got some spare keys. Up here you have a hidden, or well, it's not that hidden because you have the open button here, but you have a hidden compartment where you can store your some gloves or sunglasses or whatever you want to store down here. On the passenger side, you have this electrically operated switch up here, and you go to a expensive restaurant where you have a valet that parks your car. You can put a code in so he can't open this storage here. Yeah, I just have my passport, but it's there. And down here you have the typical glove box that you can find in any car. The side bins, they're quite large. You can fit big bottles as well. You can maybe show it. De andere weg wäre sicher gegangen. Up ahead you have a sunglass pocket, can be useful. You have these sun visors with a nice LED light. It's for your ticket when you're driving on French highways, for instance. You always have to pay, so you can put the ticket up here or your credit card, so you have it handy. You have very important in Land Rover, you have the SOS button if you're in trouble. This car has a sunroof, so you can just put it in the first position for highway driving, so you have some airflow, and you can open it all the way, almost all the way. I think it's gonna stop right here, but good for some summer days. And of course you can close it back up and put the blinds, which also electric. Close it up. The seats are fully electric. You have the buttons on the side here, and the one that turns is actually for the lumbar support on the side, which is very cool. So you can actually really be tucked in the car. So when you're driving in the mountains, for instance, you're happy to have that support. Other than that, you have the memory functions for your seat. So if you have different drivers, you can save your seat and mirror options. Right here you have your blind spot monitor, which is a neat place to have it. Most cars have it on the inside and it just looks clumsy. Here it's integrated in the mirror. I like that. Yeah. Let's have a look in the back. So in the back, like you can see, the Discovery offers tons of space in the back. I mean, I'm 1.85 meters tall. The seat is basically in the setting for me driving it, and I can sit behind my position comfortably. Still have maybe 6, 7, 8 centimeters leg room. You have these airplane style map holders, I'm not sure how you want to call them. Well, tissue holders in that case. You have USB charging ports everywhere in this car. Pretty cool. You have heated seats in this car for the rear passengers. Some cars even have cooled seats. This one doesn't have that. A lot of cars have a huge transmission or prop shaft tunnel. And like you can see, there is a small tunnel here, but it's nowhere near a Porsche Cayenne or a BMW X5. I mean, here you can seat an adult and you don't have your legs up here. You can sit comfortably. Another cool feature is your seats are movable. So you can move forward and backwards. So if you need more space in the back and you just have small kids, you can go forward and then you have a bigger storage room. So that's quite cool. And if you're not all the way at the back, you can also pull the handle and lie a little bit down, which is for longer journeys on the Autobahn. It's quite good. Let's see how the boot sit. So coming to the back of the car, to open the boot you have a button underneath the V. Press it. Tailgate opens. It's not a split tailgate like the older cars had. It has a normal opening tailgate, and then you have an inner electric tailgate, which is really practical when you're parked on an incline and you don't want all your groceries to just fall off when you open the boot. You have this cover that holds your stuff, and you can actually fit 3 large fat blokes in here, or 5 of me, because this thing can hold 300 kilos, so you can really charge your Land Rover with this tailgate, which is quite a cool feature. Coming to the boot size, you can see, I mean, this bag compared to me, it's not a small bag, is it? And when you look at it in the boot, it just looks small. I mean, it's gigantic. When you put all the seats down, like I mean the second row of seats down, you have 2.5 cubic meter of space in here. 2,500 liters. I mean, that's amazing. That's top of the class. And if you don't have kids, or at least many kids, and you don't take the 7-seater, you can have, like I did, you can have some space down here as well, which is useful to store some smaller items, like in the wintertime, some towing accessories or a jump starter. You never know who you have to help in winter times, at least in Switzerland, in the snow. You always find a tourist you can tow. The Disco also has a cover, which covers your belongings if you don't have tinted windows. I have tinted windows, so I don't really use it that often. But it's actually quite neat because it closes till here, and then you have this upper part up here that just, when it closes, comes over the top of here. So you really can't see what you're hiding in your trunk. Coming to maybe one of the best things that Discoveries are known for, towing. This car has an electrically operated tow hitch, a button on this side. You can press it and then all the magic and wizardry happens. I still find that quite an amazing thing. I mean, a lot of cars have them now, but it's still, for me, it's a luxury that you wouldn't really need. The one thing that Land Rover also has is a button on this side, which is extremely cool. And that button is basically when you attach your trailer to the car, everything, the lights, etc., you can press it and then the car run all the lights you have in a pattern. So you can go and stand behind your trailer, and then the car goes through left blinker, right blinker, brakes, fog light, reverse, etc. So you can check if your trailer that you just hooked on has everything working. And usually when you're alone, you can't really do it, can you? You can just put the lights on it and go check, and you can put on the blinkers, but the rest you really can't check, and this just checks everything for you. So that's a cool feature to have. To close it, you just press the button up here, and then, yeah, pretty standard. So a very neat thing about the car is you have this big spoiler at the back, and a lot of cars, I mean, it's a detail, but a lot of cars have their wipers down here. And Land Rover, on Range Rovers for a long time, and on Discoveries now as well, have them tucked up here. So you have just this clean look, which is kind of unique, because all the other cars, I mean, even the high-spec Porsches just have a ugly small wiper at the back of the car. It just looks unclean for me. So that's a cool feature, and it's not harder to design, is it? And when you're wiping or like putting some water on your rear windscreen, you also have a jet washer down here to wash your camera. So that's a neat feature. A small thing, if you actually have skis, I bought this Thule from Land Rover, and it has this sliding thing. Never seen it. I'm not sure if other brands have it. I mean, it's a collab from Land Rover with Thule, so I'm guessing other brands have it as well. But that's a very neat feature to access your roof, because the car is so high up you couldn't put all your skis in. But with this slider, it makes it really easy. The car is fitted with electric suspension. So right now it's in access mode. But as soon as you start the engine and drive off, it goes up to the normal ride height. And when you go off-road, you can actually lift the car substantially up, which makes it quite a tough off-roader if you have good tires. Because obviously with road tires like these, even if the car is good off-road with all the modes, the tires are the weak point. But if you want to go off-road, and you put some good chunky tires on this car, it's quite amazing. Let's have a look in the engine bay. So, down here. So the cool part about this car is you actually have some space to work on the car. I mean, a lot of Audis and Porsches are just filled up to the edge, and you don't have any access. Down here you can still see the alternator, you can still see all the belts. I mean, you take this cover off and you can access most of the parts when you need to service the engine. So that's a cool thing, that you still are somehow able to access it. And you can see on the hood you have all this this rubber that seals it off, because the air intake from the beginning comes from here above the headlight, travels all the way in the hood down here, gets filtrated from the water in the hood. It's a complex engineering of this hood actually, and then goes back to the box. So this car has 90 centimeters of weighting depth. I mean, that's quite amazing. The older Defenders only had 50 centimeters without the snorkel. I mean, I saw some people in Australia that go through rivers with these cars. It's amazing what the car can actually do. Button on the side, this flips down. You have on the bottom, you have another lever. Just pull it. But that offers you a space that is perfectly flat, and it's great for camping trips as well, because I actually slept in this car when I went to Great Britain a few months back, and I could actually sleep in the back of the car without moving these seats forward. I mean, the boot is immense. You have ISOFIX points on both seats on the side. Life in the Disco. It's pure comfort. It's a car you buy when you want to have a car that's very good at cruising. This road is quite bumpy, and the air suspension just floats over it. And that's the amazing part about the car. You just feel cocooned in it. You have every crucial function is just available via a standard switch, which I prefer instead of going all the time into the menu. You can still do that in this car. They have all the functions you have via buttons. You can go here, for instance, seats. Yeah, consumption wise, it depends a bit on your driving style, I guess. I managed to use 8.5 liters for 100 kilometers. What I'm a little bit disappointed about the car is you don't have adaptive cruise control. So that's, for me, it's weird, because at my office we had a service car from Nissan, cost I think 40 grand, and it had adaptive cruise control and even steered itself. I mean, that's quite crazy when you think about it. You could buy two of these cars, and this car you just don't have this option in it for almost 100 grand. But I guess, yeah, that's how Land Rover works. That's how a lot of expensive German brands work. They just make the money with the options, but it's a little bit, yeah, sad. But it has other cool features, like it has the warning that tells me when I go over a line. The steering wheel vibrates. That's quite a useful thing. So a cool thing since the last service I had on the car is that Land Rover gave a free update of the firmware. And since the last update, we now have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto available. In my case, it's Apple CarPlay. So you have your phone here. Via cable, you connect it to your console here, USB ports. And then you can access it via the infotainment system. You go up here, phone, and then you have all your functions that you're allowed to use from your smartphone. You have WhatsApp, yeah, all the messages. The messages are read out for you, which is funny, especially as we're usually speaking Swiss German, which is not a language that apparently Apple knows. Well, obviously, because we're not that many people that speak it. But so the car sometimes has some issues reading the stuff to me. but I'm guessing in normal English or German it would work perfectly. And then you also have Google Maps if you prefer that to your normal navigation system, which is self-explanatory. And if you want to go back, you can just tap Land Rover and then you have all your functions that you have. Here, vaartuigafmessung, basically the dimensions of your car. And then you see, oh, okay, now I'm 2 meters 0.1 high. If I would be in normal, it would be only 1 meter 93. And if I go into access mode, it's only 1 meter 88. I actually used this in a small car park in France, where I had to calculate how high I was with my ski rack. In the car you also have all the 4x4 infos. So you have you can see which wheel is in the air, has no contact. You can see your central diff lock, if it's engaged or not. It's here, camera. So that's a front-facing camera, but this car also has a 360-degree camera. So that's a cool thing. A very big perk for me for this car was that it has a low range. So when you go into neutral, you can access your low range, and then it engages the low range gearbox, which gives you a lot more torque. I think it's 1/3 of the gears, so you have a lot more power in slow moving sections when you're rock crawling, for instance, or anything. You have the hill descent control, which is good when you're on a snowy hill and you just want to let the car drive down. You also have this LIM, which is it's basically a cruise control for off-roading. You can just set your speed, for instance 4 miles per hour, and then the car just drives 4 miles per hour and you just have to steer. Well, for me, I wouldn't probably use it, but for people that are stressed out navigating on an off-road course, it can be useful. And here you have your different modes you can access. You have the snow mode, you have mud, you have sand, and then you have rock crawl on this side. I actually know that I'm gonna use this car off-road, maybe not now that it's brand new, but as soon as it gets a little bit older, I'm pretty sure gonna change it to an expedition vehicle. So cool to have all these features.